Well, hello everyone. After much work over the past year, I am happy to announce that the KCS Strategic Plan is now complete. And I thought in this COVID time that presenting our strategic plan to all of you in the form of a video would not only work, but also be kind of fun to do.
All right, so the KCS Strategic Plan is a document that's created in conjunction with many groups and something that'll be reviewed every year by the KCS board. It has to flow out of our mission statement, and our mission statement is very important to the school, stating that we provide a Christ-centered, Bible-based education that nurtures academic potential, a moral character, a Christian worldview, and a commitment to serving God and others. As you see, there are three main sections to our mission statement. Being Christ-centered and Bible-based, and a Christian worldview is one, nurturing academic potential is another, and a commitment to serving God and others is a third. To help build the strategic plan, a form went out to families and staff members and alumni and board members, and 50 respondents came in, giving us a sense of what KCS should be focusing on over the next 2 to 3 years. That information was tallied together, and a smaller group was put together of about 12 to 15 people to take a look at the data and come up with themes. The group was made of parents, again, and board members, and even members of the Society of Christian Schools BC, which is an umbrella group that represents KCS and many Christian schools at the government level. That group came together, created the themes, and that helped us to build our strategic plan. Now, we've never done a strategic plan in this collaborative fashion before, but we were very excited about what came out. From this, a bold goal was created. And the bold goal might even seem audacious when you read it, but it is what KCS should strive to achieve as it moves forward over the next 2 to 3 years and beyond. And it reads as follows, that KCS would be known and esteemed as a Canadian leader in Christian education that develops best practices, uses innovative teaching and programs, and attracts quality Christian educators to draw and equip students to passionately and positively change their local and global community. You can see many of the parts of the mission statement are listed here in this bold goal. So then the bold goal is the end product. The strategic priorities are the smaller steps, each one pointing back at the bold goal. So we're going to take a look at these strategic priorities. As you can see, there are 5 main strategic priorities, and then there are 3 business essential priorities. So the first strategic priority is the educational programs itself, and then looking at school culture and connectedness, how we impact our local and global community, the fiscal responsibility and giving aspect of our school, and the facilities themselves. And then you can see that there are 3 business essentials. We want to continually move towards bringing our staff compensation to meet or exceed SCSBC and BC recommendations for teacher salaries. We want to work to align our tuition to be comparable with other independent schools in BC, and we want to continue to provide professional development opportunities for all our staff to nurture their educational practices. All of those strategic priorities as well are all SMART. So they have to be specific, they have to be measurable, attainable, they have to be relevant, and they have to be time-based, so they have to have an end. So let's take a look at these strategic priorities, those top 5 above, and look specifically at the SMART goals that are underneath each one of them. So first we'll take a look at the educational programs, and in this section there are a few sub-SMART goals. In the educational programs, there are 2 main things. First is a unified K-12 plan that deals with the following 2 things. One of them is teaching for transformation, and we've been using it at KCS for a while, but we want to make sure that we have a unified plan K-12. Let's take a look at what teaching for transformation is.
Teaching for Transformation is the framework that we use at KCS to help students develop their faith and to understand that they are God's child and that they have a role to play in His story. Teaching for Transformation includes biblical through lines, understanding the specific role that they can play in God's kingdom as artists, as God worshipers, as storytellers of His story, taking care of creation, being servant leaders, being community builders. All of these are specific ideas that we have students practice throughout their time during the school day, and also in specific projects that where they interact with community.
Great, thanks Karen. We also want to look at our health and mental wellness curriculum K-12 and make sure that we're doing a good job of presenting that. As well, we want to review and develop our infrastructure that allows students to reach their academic potential. One way we're going to do that is to give professional development to our teachers around the universal design for learning theory. Let's take a listen to what universal design for learning actually is.
All right, universal design for learning is based upon the concept of universal design, which is used in architecture when we're designing buildings to be accessible for all people. So when we put curbs and sidewalks, we're building it for people with wheelchairs, but it's also beneficial for people with strollers and all sorts of other uses. When we think about universal design for learning, what we're thinking about is making learning accessible for all of our diverse learners. So when we set up our classrooms, when we plan for learning, we're thinking about how to meet the needs of all students.
We're also going to review our learning support program, and we'll be doing that with Society of Christian Schools BC. And we want to set up some literacy and numeracy benchmarks. And again, we have some of these in our elementary. We want to make sure that all of these programs are in place, kindergarten through to grade 12. So that's our educational program. Moving on from there, we also want to take a look at our school culture and connectedness section. That was another theme that came out of the collaborative group. And in here, there are a few goals. First, we want to make sure that every 3 years we redo the community health audit. The community health audit was sent out to all of our families this past year, and many of the themes that are in this year's strategic plan flow directly out of that community health audit. These dealt with things such as communication and school connectedness and culture. As well, presenting a plan to enhance the identity and connectedness as one school, but maintaining the distinct cultures of elementary, middle, and high school is also on the strategic plan. As well, developing a strategy to strengthen the connections between new parents and students and current parents and students is also on the plan. And finally, developing a comprehensive, so that's academic, social, and emotional transition plan for students going from elementary to middle school and middle to high school is also one of the themes that came out of this collaborative strategic planning process. One of the next main themes is how KCS impacts its local and global community. And in there are two main things. We want to inform our KCS families and the broader KCS community and Kamloops community as well about the service projects that our students undertake to fill the needs in our community. As well, we want to create a marketing plan to promote Kamloops Christian School, both locally and beyond. And to do that, we're going to do two things. We're going to build some community partnerships, and we're going to explore ways to share our beautiful facility, but still maintain our school's culture. Under the fiscal responsibility and giving section, we want to make sure that we establish a cash reserve, and this cash reserve will help KCS to navigate its way through any future financial hardships that it finds itself in. All right, and finally, under the facilities section, we have some big news for you. We're going to be starting, hopefully, the next capital campaign for the school in about 2023. At least that's what we're shooting for. Now, in the meantime, we're going to continue to do some facility upgrades. Those will include our foods room, our science room, and maybe the front of the building as well. And that's it for the strategic plan for Kamloops Christian School. We hope you've enjoyed it. God bless everyone.